rules and regulations to think about when beginning to play racquetball. Number one, the service area. The two lines that are drawn right close to the center of the court is the area in which you have to stand in between in order to serve the ball. Your foot cannot step out of the line when beginning it. It has to be either on the line or inside. And then when you finish your serve, you cannot step beyond the line. Your front foot has to stay within the line. So this is considered the service area. The second line, or the hash mark, the dotted line, is the area in which your opponent cannot come into until the ball crosses that area. If they step up too soon to cut the ball off, that will be a point for you and against your opponent because he moves into the safety area, which is outlined by the hash marks. Service return position, where Jeremiah is standing, is the ideal position to stand when looking to return serve. Scoring points in racquetball. You can only score points when you are serving. So understand that when you're serving, you can score points. When you're returning a serve, all you can do is get the service back. You cannot score points from the return of serve position, even if you win a rally. The main aspect of racquetball in scoring is that the ball, you're trying to get the ball to bounce twice before your opponent gets it. If your opponent returns it in one bounce, the ball is in play, and therefore, there cannot be a point determined until somebody gets the ball on two bounces. Most games are played, the professional games are played to 11, where the amateur games are played 2 out of 3 to 15, and the third game to 11, which is considered a tiebreaker. On the serve, the ball must hit the front wall first and carry beyond the second short line in order to be considered a good serve. If your ball hits the side wall first, the floor or the ceiling before hitting the front wall, it is a side out and you have lost the serve. So remember, you must bounce the ball one time, hitting the front wall, then you can hit a side wall and carry into the back court or beyond the back service line for the ball to be in play. Also remember, the ball cannot carry all the way to the back wall on a fly because that would be constituted as a long, which would give you a second opportunity to put the ball in play. The ball has to bounce beyond the short line and not to the back wall in the whole back distance of the court in order to be put in play. Another fault that can occur with a serve is if you hit too many walls with the ball on a service. You're allowed to hit the side wall after you've hit the front wall to carry back into the service area. If you hit a Z shot or hit a sharp angled front wall, side wall shot that carries on a fly to the opposite wall, creating a Z element, that also would be considered a long ball and would be a serve that you would have another opportunity to hit. It would be considered a fault. Now understand too, if you hit the front wall, side wall, and the ball bounces and then hits the side wall, then the ball's in play. But it cannot hit the side wall on a fly, constituting a Z shot, which is a fault, which is a playover. Proper sportsmanship and hinder calls, meaning playing the balls over. Because we're playing on a confined court, a 20 by 40 court, usually singles, sometimes doubles with 4 people on the court, sometimes the play gets a little bit close. If your opponent is out of position or somewhat blocks your free range of hitting the ball to the front wall, a hinder would be called by an official, or you would just merely play that rally over. Now, if your opponent intentionally tries to cut off an angle, that can be construed as an avoidable hinder, meaning that play would be against your opponent. but generally 90% of the time, if anything is close, for safety reasons and for good sportsmanship, I recommend we play it over. Generally, the playovers and the hinders and avoidable hinders will even out during the course of a game or a match, so it really doesn't determine who the winner is going to be.